Don in London, hello. It's the 28th of September 2009. My video's all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance of addiction, alcohol, and in recovery one day at a time. My behaviour, besides drinking, alcohol, workaholic, relationshipaholic, any ism, any olic you care to mention, food. If it wasn't booze, it would be something else, I guess. And always trying to make sense of the world, make sense of reality. And I don't know how far away from reality I got, other than the world shrank to the size of my head. And believe you me, my head is no bigger than anybody else's, well, in dimensions. What's in it at any one time? It could be full of ego, brave-facing, fear, or it could be full of courage, faith, and confidence based on the truth of now. And what has helped me get into recovery over the years, a very, very concerned family, less concerned community who probably weren't too sure who is this person who seems to be okay on the outside but is very difficult to know on the inside, and society, professionals who really understood the maladies I was going through. And then I guess when I really understood, when I got to a place of denial, first was ignorance, then denial. Ignorance of what it was that was wrong with me. And believe you me, if we have grown up in a culture where it's okay to drink to excess pretty much all the time, it's very difficult to understand why it's hurting us more and we can't stop. And the dependence is in, and then the addiction is in. So where did I get to? Well, family certainly kept me alive long enough, and professionals kept me alive long enough to have a moment of clarity, and it really was a moment of clarity. And I don't know if it was a spiritual experience back then, but it was a revelation of truth. And the revelation of truth for me was I could not stop on my own. And once I realised that the process of waking up every morning thinking I don't want to wake up anymore, and the realisation that it couldn't really get any worse, there was rock bottom. And that was before I even knew what a rock bottom was properly. I'd heard the term used obviously over and over again in different contexts, but it took such a long time to get there. But having got there, I thought, well, no, I felt, the feeling was, if I cannot do it on my own, I better ask for help. And I did ask for some professional help to try and get me out of, I don't know what it was, a malaise, a place of anxiety. Indeed, I'd had an anxiety state before, but this one was like no other. So I eventually got through the doors of the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't speak for AA, never can, never will. It's full of great, unique, authentic people making their recovery one day at a time. So I talk about AA and how it helps me, but I don't talk about other people in any detail. So it's specific to me and my recovery, and we are all unique, authentic. So sharing a message of experience, strength and hope is key always to keeping my sobriety. And this is like my daily meditation and reflection, which is what somebody said to me last night. Surely you must get more clarity by reading the books and being at meetings. And the answer is yes, just a bit at a time. You know, there is no revelation which lays my life plan down for the rest of my life, except this one, which is sober one day at a time, and keep to the right company, put sober first, and the rest of my life can work. It will work, regardless. So AA, it's fundamental to my way of life, and I will share the AA preamble or statement of intent, and it goes like this, and then I'll share some of the readings. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And yesterday was fundamentally a wonderful day, sunshine, out to lunch with a close a close, intimate friend who I adore a lot. A lot? I just love her. She's great. And then on to do a bit of shopping. It's all very ordinary stuff. But the gift was to be in the moment and not be troubled by the past and not be wondering what to do next. And then a meeting last night, a wonderful meeting which I go to as often as I can on a Sunday night, called Lest We Forget. And a great chair, somebody sharing their experience, strength and hope and the progress made over the last year or two. And we had a little conversation afterwards, and it was great just to touch base from where we met a couple of years ago to where they are today. And they kept on looking at me and smiling when they were speaking, because we'd had long conversations, well, one or two anyway. And the gift is to be able to identify with what is being said, and then to identify with everyone in the room. So it's about inclusion, love and choices, and that's what the programme gives me. So readings today come from As Bill Sees It, this book, and also Daily Reflections, this book. So I'll do Daily Reflections second, but I'll do the bit As Bill Sees It now. And it talks about hope born of hopelessness, and it says here on page 217, letter to Carl Jung. Most conversion experiences, whatever their variety, do have a common denominator of ego collapse at depth. The individual faces an impossible dilemma. In my case, the dilemma had been created by my compulsive drinking, and the deep feeling of hopelessness had been vastly deepened by my doctor. It was deepened still more by my alcoholic friend when he acquainted me with your verdict of hopelessness respecting a particular person. In the wake of my spiritual experience, there came a vision of the Society of Alcoholics. If each sufferer were to carry the news of the scientific hopelessness of alcoholism to each new prospect, he might be able to lay every newcomer wide open to a transforming spiritual experience. This concept proved to be the foundation of such success as AA has since achieved. And for me, that is true. If we have an understanding of what a spiritual experience might be, it starts with not being contemptuous prior to investigation of the truth of now. And for me, spiritual is truth. And as an understanding of what God can be in my life, it is truth, the truth of now. So I've learned a lot about what works for me and what works for those around me. So truth, something that eluded me on a daily basis when I was in denial. And as I say, I didn't even know I was in denial. So ignorance is not bliss. And that was one of the themes of last night as well. In the daily reflections for today, September the 28th, it says, love without strings. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. And that comes from AA's big book, not sure which edition, page 89, it says here. Sponsorship held two surprises for me. First, that my sponsees cared about me. What I had thought was gratitude was more like love. They wanted me to be happy, to grow and remain sober. Knowing how they felt kept me from drinking more than once. Second, I discovered that I was able to love someone else responsibly, with respectful and genuine concern for that person's growth. In other words, not ego. Before that time, I had thought that my ability to care sincerely about another's well-being had atrophied from lack of use. To learn that I can love without greed or anxiety has been one of the deepest gifts the program has given me. Gratitude for that gift has kept me sober many times, and for me, I guess it keeps me sober on a daily basis. And the gift for me today is I'm calm, and choices in the day about what next. For that, I'm extraordinarily grateful. So the outlook of being able to love again, be loved back, and have something useful to do is remarkable, and never did I think it would come back. So the serenity prayer to God of to the God of your understanding or good conscience. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is just for today.